Broken to Brave, episode 18, number 20. Volunteered to get interviewed on a podcast about music that is important to me. Well, this is significant in many ways. First of all, I don't volunteer to do things. Secondly, it's personal. And thirdly, I don't volunteer to do things. The way the show works is that someone picks a song from each decade they were alive in. There are no rules regarding how to pick your songs, and no specific criteria, just as long as there's one from each decade you've been alive. I was born in 1968, so I started with a song from the 60s. I didn't set out with a theme in mind when I picked my songs, it just sort of happened. The first song was Sweet Thing by Van Morrison. I picked this one because it describes a little bit about how I feel about Rob. My second song was Kooks by David Bowie for the 1970s, and this one was about parenting Molly. Are you starting to see the pattern? The song I chose from the 1980s was Peter Gabriel's Don't Give Up. I chose this song because it encompassed my teenage years, and I shared on the podcast how I survived those difficult years. My next song was Tonight Tonight by Smashing Pumpkins for the 1990s. It represents our move to Minneapolis, and I describe what was so significant about that time. Next up was the 2000s and the song Bloody Motherfucking Asshole by Martha Wainwright. This was about my desire to live in truth and my break from my family of origin. The last song I chose was Brave by Sarah Bareilles for the 2010s. I was knee-deep in my list at this point, and this song said it all. With list in hand, I Skyped with Jesse and Terry. I shared a lot. We went deep. We laughed and we even cried a little. It was supposed to be an hour. It was not. They had to split mine into 2 episodes. I'm a podcaster and I like to talk. What can I say? It was very healing for me and fun. And holy crap, people were going to hear this. What have I done? I talked about my list too. So there's that. This was the precursor to this project. This was the first time I really talked about my list in detail. I was only on number 20 when I volunteered for the podcast. But by the time I guested, I was a little further in, but still very far from having the confidence I have now, but much braver than when I started at number 1. And this was me full on. This was me flayed open and honest. This was me learning how to do this. Sometimes bravery is being vulnerable. Episodes of Broken to Brave are released every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you so much for listening and for joining me on this journey of healing and growth. If you want to go deeper into this story and hear it from a spouse's perspective, my husband and I have a Patreon-only show where we have an extended, behind-the-scenes discussion of every episode, which also posts twice a week. Here's a sample of our latest Patreon-only companion podcast. Welcome back to the Broken to Brave Companion Podcast. This is episode 19, number 20. Oh, no, it's not. I pre-highlighted. Sometimes
Again,
I just
that's
get
what
excited.
you did last time. Not last time, but you did do that. Oh my gosh.
I've been doing better. Okay. This is episode 18, number 20 on the list. Volunteered to get interviewed on a podcast about music that is important to me. Okay.
So personal. Music means so much to you.
Yeah, it does.
And the words especially mean so much to you. This is a really personal thing. This took an incredible amount of bravery because this is like opening your soul up.
This was a precursor to this project.
Yeah, it really was.
I feel like it was my toe in the water. It was a way for me to show I can splay myself open and share from the deepest parts of me and be okay.
Yeah,
and
you had some splaying to do.
I splayed, all right.
Yes, you did. It was supposed to be what?
It was supposed to be an hour.
And
it was not.
No.
It was 2 episodes.
2 episodes.
I went down in history as being their one doubleheader. Okay. So I had to do a song from each decade I've been alive.
Yeah, it's a really cool premise.
Yeah. So the 1960s, I was born in 68. So the 1960s, I did Van Morrison's Sweet Thing. And I tell all about why that is significant to me, and lyrics matter to me.
Yeah, they really do.
And so that song, I go into our marriage. I talk all about our relationship, and that is a really, really, really powerful one. On that podcast.
Well, it's interesting because your songs and your descriptions here, yeah, they are about us, but they're a lot of it, when you really break it down, they're about this journey that led us to here.
Exactly.
Whereas when I was on the show, mine were all about my relationship with you and then Molly.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting because there are no rules to this other than pick a song from each decade you were alive.
Yeah. So my first one I did was about our relationships. That was Sweet Thing from Van Morrison. Then the 70s, I did Kooks by David Bowie, which is about... To hear the rest of this episode and get other exclusives, become a patron to Broken to Brave at patreon.com. You can also follow my blog at brokentobrave.com for even more insights and engaging content. Links are in the show notes. Broken to Brave is a production of Southgate Media Group, hosted and written by me, Martha Southgate. Thank you so much for listening. Now go do something brave.